Today we celebrate the legacy of Asma Jahangir, the fearless and tireless fighter for the rule of law. And as we celebrate her legacy today, there are dark clouds hovering over the rule of law in Pakistan because of the threat of the emergence of a parallel judicial system that will make the civilians also triable by the military courts. To pay homage to Asma Jahangir, I should like to say that if Asma Jahangir were alive today, she would have been a powerful voice against this, not only inside the court, but also outside the court, like the platform over here. So, why I say that this judicial system, the parallel judicial system, the military courts, is against the people of Pakistan, and why we should resist it. We should resist it in the court, and we should also resist it outside the court. Number one, it is against the Constitution guarantee of independence of judiciary, and you can't have a parallel judicial system, Article 175A of the Constitution. And if you have a parallel judicial system, that means the mainstream judiciary is redundant. It's against the constitutional provision, and it's also against Article 10A of the Constitution, which mandates due process of law. In the military courts, there is no due process of law in the sense that the prosecutor, the investigator, the jury, and the judge, and the executioner all are one person, and that is the chief of the army staff. So when all this combines into one hand, this is not due process. So the military courts are against 10A, the due process of law. They are against Article 175A of the Constitution, and as Madam Khadija pointed out, they are against the international commitments and obligations of which the state of Pakistan has made. It is important to recall, now a decade has passed. This is 2024, and if you recall, in 2014, there was an attack, Army Public School, and in the wake of that attack, the military wanted to take action against the militants, and with great reluctance, the parliament allowed that with a sunset clause of 2 years. But that was also conditional, a conditional, not every civilian, not even every criminal. The wording said black jet terrorists. Although it's a different matter that not only terrorists but ordinary criminals later on were also tried. But the limitation on that clause was only black terrorists who are identified as such, and it was also sunset clause for 2 years, and then the parliament extended it for another 2 years, and after that, as Abid Saki Saab said, it just had to fade away into oblivion, and it faded away. But now the qualitative difference between 2024 and 2014 is that now the people, not only black jet terrorists are to be tried in the military courts, not only bound by the sunset clause, but any civilian doing anything, accused of any crime for all times to come, he will be triable by the military court, in which the investigator, the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury, and the executioner will be based in Rawalpindi. So this is the kind of threat that you and I all are facing today. Now, what is the basis and what is this hurry? That the government all of a sudden said that, well, we want to have the military court trial of the civilians. An excuse has been created, some May 9th incident. Sometimes I wonder whether the May 9 incident was engineered in a way to create a false justification later on for the military courts. I don't know, but right now, I really would think, therefore, if the reason given is May 9 incident, the first thing what should be done is judicial investigations into May 9 incident. Regardless of which political party you belong to, you must demand that if May 9 incidents creates a justification for the military courts, let us first examine the May 9 incident itself. And many things might then come out. That is number one. Secondly, why it is being done. I have an apprehension, Abid Saki Saab, you think about that. And I would urge all the lawyers present here to give a thought to this. And I should recognize that, Maharang Baloch is here and she is fighting for this rule of law. And this would also interest her. My apprehension is, and my experience so far is, that people in this country have been disappeared. And when the Peshawar High Court or some other court put pressure and said that those should be produced, suddenly, Abid Saki Saab, the military said, oh, they are in our custody and we are trying them under Official Secret Act. This is what happened with Idris Khattak. He remained disappeared for 10 months. And when there was international pressure and the court put pressure, they said, oh yes, Idris Khattak is with us and we are trying him for Official Secret Act. And he was tried, sentenced to 12 years in jail. So what is happening now is that people are getting disappeared in the country. They will end up in what is known as internment centers, and we will try to locate them. And when they will be located, you will be told, the court will be told that, well, we are trying them under the Official Secret Act. So that means the enforced disappearances are going to be institutionalized in Pakistan. After the parliament and after the Supreme Court and after the civil society and after the international community raised voice, I think the military courts and the trial of the civilians in the military courts is a ploy to institutionalize enforced disappearances in Pakistan. And this is a very serious matter. I will just finish in 1 minute, and that is that, and here I would urge the lawyer community to kindly help us. When the Peshawar High Court, may God bless Justice Waqar, said, he said that the internment centers are unconstitutional. They should be disbanded and made part of the ordinary jails. And people were getting disappeared and they were locked in those internment centers. So in the court, a case was made that, well, this is discriminatory. These internment centers are only in the tribal areas and not in the rest of the province. Do you know what happened? The government made out an ordinance and they said, all right, now internment centers will be made throughout the province. Anyway, when the Peshawar High Court turned it down, the government went in appeal against that to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court stayed that order. That was 24, and it is still continuing. The last hearing was held on the 24th December 2019. It is almost 5 years. No hearing has been held in that. So I urge on this platform that we should raise voice, that this case should be heard. Already 5 years have passed. I am also a petitioner in that case. I would urge all the lawyers, distinguished lawyers present here, to please raise your voice, because once that case is decided, I think the door for the civilians' trial by the military courts hopefully will be shut forever. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much.